What a lovely Friday indeed with some Season 4 news. And for those who are looking for it, it's probably not the news that you were hoping for. So Blizzard, with Season 4, there's an Awakened raid rotation, there's a new Mythic Plus season, but then there's not much else with that. And that's had people asking for the past couple of weeks, where is the class tuning? Where are the changes to the Awakened season? Are they going to actually be doing anything more than what they cited? And the answer is, maybe there's a little bit more, but there's not a ton more. And we did learn a couple of key points this week or today that we hadn't necessarily known in the past. There was maybe some implied effect to it, some of it, but it wasn't like explicitly stated. But with the notes coming out, we've kind of learned how this is actually going to work. So structurally, the Awakened raids are every 2 weeks. So the first 2 weeks on the schedule is both Vaults and the Incarnates. Week 3 and 4 is Aberrus. Week 5 and 6 will be Emir Drasil. And then week 7 plus, all raids are Awakened. There is going to be a buff that increases reputation gain with all the Dragonflight reputations. That will be enabled whenever a specific raid is Awakened as well. For Vault of the Incarnates, it's the Dragonscale Expedition, Maruk Centaur, and the Tuskars. For Aberrus, it's Niffins, the Sibelian and Rathian rep. For Emir Drasil, it's the Dream Wardens and the Valdrakken Accord. So it's basically for people who are trying to complete the end of the season stuff, which again kind of makes sense. It's basically prepping people to get ready for the War Within, right? On top of that, there's also a new tier that players voted for. I'm not going to talk about this because I'm going to get bitter, but players voted for tier sets, and the one that your class or spec has voted for is going to be the one that you're going to be equipping. And on top of this, there is Bronze Booleans. Bronze Booleans are what dinars were in the past. You're going to be able to earn 1 a week by defeating Awakened bosses with the cap rising by 1 each week, meaning that you're going to be able to catch back up. Meaning that if you miss a week, you'll be able to catch up to the current weekly max. Then on top of that, you'll exchange 2 Booleans for weapons and powerful items from the Dragonflight raids from the vendors in the Parting Glass and Valdrakken. Additional vendor nearby sells Jigglesworth Senior mount for 3 Boolean and cosmetics that will grant you the choice of any raid weapon appearance or at any difficulty for 1 Boolean each. Interesting. There's also a question. I guess I have a question as to how this is going to necessarily work with the gear upgrades. Are you going to be getting it at Myth Track? Are you just going to be getting this gear at Myth Track and you're supposed to be upgrading it? Are you supposed to upgrade it with Crests on purchase? Last time we didn't have like the item upgrade system, and there was 2 currencies that dropped simultaneously. There was the Booleans, which allowed you to purchase it, and then there was like an upgrade currency, which allowed you to upgrade that gear. Not super clear as to how this is exactly going to work. It didn't necessarily say, but 1 Boolean a week, you're going to be able to get a ton of gear. And basically the gear that's available for on the Booleans is like, it's weapons, it's weapons with cantrip effects, it's all the trinkets, there's some specific special items that you can get as well, like Aranog Ring and Diurna Ring as well. So it's the stuff that you want. It's basically the stuff that you want. It's like non-off pieces, non-bland gear. They're kind of expecting you to, replace the bland gear with like normal gear kind of stuff. There's no tier that you're purchasing on it either. So it's going to be important stuff, right? Where it's very rare items. It's weapons, it's stuff like that. On top of that, legendary items will drop as usual from raids, but players who have previously obtained them can purchase a Scale of Awakened to upgrade their items to the Season 4 item levels. Base is 502 and can be upgraded further through Crests and Flight Stones. So that'll be sick. So basically you're able to use Fear Lath, you're able to use the Evoker Legendary as well. I'm not really sure if the Diurna weapon is going to be better than the Evoker Legendary. I kind of suspect that the Legendary is going to end up being better effect-wise. That would be kind of weird if it wasn't. Hunter's getting the bow back. That thing was sick. They did nerf it, but that thing was sick whenever it was current. That's not a Legendary item, but that's just a cool item. For rewards, complete all 3 Awakened Dragonflight raids on normal difficulty to receive the Voyaging Wildling Dynamic Flying Mount. We've already seen what that looks like. Or the new title, Awakened Hero, for completing all Awakened raids on Heroic difficulty. And those who complete Awakened raids on Mythic difficulty are awarded with path portals to the 3 raids. So something that I never care about. Why are we... I'm ever going to need a portal to Vault of the Incarnates again? Probably not. Oh no. Add a portal to Vault. All right, so Mythic Plus. We have all 8 Dragonflight dungeons. This is pretty well known. Rewards, dedicated defenders can obtain new Keystone Master mount, the Infinite Armorodon. once Dragonflight Keystone Master Season 4 achievement is obtained, you also will be able to earn the title of the Draconic after obtaining Keystone Conqueror in Season 4, where you earn a Mythic Plus rating of 1500. And then you also have the Draconic Hero for 0.1% to players. They've also done the dungeon squish thing where they're going to make sure that M0 is a more relevant part of the end game for a lot of people. They've also squished down the dungeon levels to try to make it, easier for players to be able to jump in. I think all in all, those are really good changes from Blizzard. They don't affect me personally, but I think as a whole, it's going to be pretty positive. PvP. If you're still PvPing in the current year, I'm sorry. This was the stuff with the dungeon squish. Basically, for Mythic, the tuning rewards of this difficulties are increasing to a +10 of dungeon with affixes in the current system. They're then going to be rotating the dungeons on M0 for here on out to match the current season's M0 dungeons. That means that you're going to be able to actually be able to engage with the system a bit easier. There's going to be no timers, affixes, or limitations for those people. The goal is to create a mega-like dungeon experience for these players that will also relieve the pressures of the current M+ system. We'll also have weekly lockout still, which is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. For M+, it's about the same as it currently is. They've squished it down a little bit. You're no longer going to be doing a 30, ideally. I don't think that 30 is like super healthy, and I think that having 29, 32-ish, levels between the top and the bottom is not super helpful. There also should be more meaningful progression between each level. That's probably just going to be due to the squish. Crests and Flightstones are going to be changing to match the same difficulty with only minor adjustments. Flightstone earnings for any given Mythic Plus will match equally challenging Mythic Plus from our previous seasons. That means that a Mythic Plus +2 in Season 4 will give the same number of Flightstones as a 12. That's good. So you're going to hopefully have more Flightstones. Hopefully you're not going to be completely burned out on Flightstones. Whelpling Crests are no longer available from M+ dungeons, as those dungeons no longer exist at that difficulty. Drake Crests aspects are from 6 and up, which that'll be good. And then Worm Crests are 2 to 5. So should be able to get Aspects Crest pretty quickly, I think, all things considered. It's gonna be a bit harder maybe to farm Worm Crest, but whenever they start downscaling, you should be good. So if you're capped, it's cool. For class changes, funnily enough, the only class changes we had were slight healer balance, where Resto Druid got a slight healing nerf, Mistweaver got a slight healing nerf, Disc got a slight healing nerf, and Resto Shaman got a slight healing nerf. And that's it. That's it for all we've seen from Season 4. There is, another post on Wowhead about a raid rotation and like what you can obtain from the raid, but there really isn't much else to go off of in Season 4, which kind of leaves me a bit disappointed. I think that the Mop remix that they've been planning and the Plunderstorm are awesome, but for somebody who just genuinely kind of enjoys World of Warcraft content and seasonal World of Warcraft content, this is not exactly what I was looking for, right? I was looking for something that kind of shook up what I was going to be doing in Season 4, and I was kind of looking for them to experiment with some stuff. So on that end, I'm kind of disappointed. I'm kind of disappointed as well that there's no class tuning, especially since there's some pretty easy class tuning that they could do that some people would be happy about. I'm looking at Vengeance Demon Hunter, but I think it's a bit too late now since they haven't done anything. So now what are they supposed to do? But yeah, those are just kind of my thoughts on Season 4. I hope it helps you guys as well as you're going to be jumping into Season 4. I'm going to try to make a video about everything you need to know about the dungeons going into Season 4. I'm aiming to get that out on Monday. So yeah, be on the lookout for that as well. Make sure you like and subscribe and check out my Twitch page as well, as I've been streaming more regularly over there. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.